Good morning. Now there's audio. The little slider, it needs to be up. Otherwise, there will be no audio. And then I become the mime show. Right? I feel like a cat, kind of like doing that kneading thing. Meow. There we go. Okay. Let me try this again. Take 2. Beep. Okay. So good morning and welcome to Wednesday. We'll do a short show. No, I'm here. Oh, yeah. I can see it on the meter over here. It's good now. We're solid. Please no. A mime is a terrible thing to waste. Anyway. I'm going to do a small tutorial that I found on Instagram. And I'm going to try to run that tutorial real quick. And so we've got a short show today because, of course, I obviously want to try to get ready to go for the dentist and stuff like that. I've got a 1 o'clock appointment, but the thing that they were recommending was that I bring podcasts or something and then put headphones in, and in that way I don't have to listen to the drill and stuff like that, although I'm going to still hear the drill. So anyway, so we're going to do just a quick little thing here. I snapped a shot of an adorable little cosplay person who's doing cosplay stuff. And she was dressed up as a character, and I don't know the character. So I just snapped a picture of her real quick and ran a quick, just a rough outline trace to keep all of my perspective and everything correct and all of my distances. Besides, this is a test, so I'm not terribly concerned. And I found an interesting tutorial on Instagram, so we're going to work this tutorial. That's what we're going to do. So it says, step 1, sketch out and fill the base color. We've done the sketch because I didn't want to waste time on this, so I'm going to just hit a base color. Looks good there. I have added the brushes now for the Wallop. I don't know how to say her name, their name. So, as you have caught me before, there. So I'm just going to go on ahead and put in this. So the concept that I'm working on here is fast. Can I generate fast painting? And it's okay if it just looks a little rough, because that's part of what we're kind of after here, right? So if you've got the mime... Wait, what? Just easily entertained is what I am, you know? Always have been. Okay, we're just putting in the base color here. I'll come back around at some point and put in other aspects of it. But for right now, this is what we're going to do. All right, speed painting. That is entirely what we're after here. Let's see if we can do this, right? Speed painting. What do we think the odds are? Good, bad, indifferent? Guess we'll have to see. Okay. We've done that, and now I can't seem to move forward. That doesn't surprise me, I guess. I should be not shocked at all. This is the Microsoft version of Windows here. Alright, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to load this into here because they've got a palette on this. And I wonder if I can steal its palette. So let's load. I mean, I am just practicing here, so. But I love this palette right here, right? So let's. And even though it's JPEG artifacted, let's see if I can't steal that color. Right? Wow, she looks gray. Let's steal that medium color there. There we go. Much more like it. I mean, it's a medium color, so I'm going to go back through and just get the edges of here. Right? We'll come back in and clean this up in a minute. But for right now, let's get this base in. Right? I probably shouldn't be so attentive to the edges at this point because we're going to have to come back and cut these edges up anyway at some point. So, hey Donald. Now we've done. There you go. Now you guys can talk. So Donald, we are attempting a speed paint. That's what we're attempting to do. We are attempting a speed paint. So we're going to go through here with the brush and just catch the dark areas here. And I'm just going to go fast. This is the whole point here, was to go fast, right? So we're just going to go as fast as possible. Right? Grab some of this right in there. And I'm just grabbing all of the colors from that particular paint, and I'm using it to just blend in right here. You know, I'm just kind of blending in all of these colors into sort of a rough concept here. I'm trying desperately to stay rough. And the point is that I have in the past spent too much time concentrating a lot on like the details, and I haven't gotten into just getting the rough colors. So the whole point here is to just grab the roughness, just the roughness of the colors, just a little bit here, so we can kind of get an idea of what the face looks like, right? Let's kind of describe the face here. Right, so we're just catching the highlights here, and maybe a sort of a that's kind of cool, actually. What an interesting thing to have happen there. I mean, it's kind of fascinating. I think that's cool. Good on you, man. I know that you've been kind of, it's been really kind of cool. I mean, that's just an interesting thing to have happen. I don't know where I was going with that. I'm sure I was headed somewhere important. I'm too busy painting. I don't know what I was saying. So now I'm just kind of putting in the planes of the face and sort of getting as much of this as I can sort of illuminated in the right way. It is excellent news. It is excellent news, my friend. Excellent news. Now that I've kind of got this figured out, where are the planes of the face? Where are we going with this, right? I'm kind of going under her eye right here a little bit and up onto there and maybe out on her shoulder a little or whatever. You know, we've got kind of the planes of her face and body kind of going in here. Now I'm going to go back in and we're going to darken it out, right? We're going to have some serious dark right there. Because there's a couple of things. One, now I can bring the brush size down. I'm going to go in here and really work on this eye, right? It's such a good feeling to be able to help people. I'm very pleased. That's cool. I mean, not like you need my acceptance by any stretch, but it's still very, very cool. Use the same dark brush to get in here on her eyelash. Bring that back around like that. All right, we'll do the same thing over here. Just like that. We'll come up here. She's got this fold going on there. Just kind of go along here like that, and just a little bit right there. Not a lot. And we'll actually kind of blend this out. So that when the sketch is gone, there's still enough of a face that you can see where everything is. You know, we're doing good here. So we're going to we want to be very careful how we use black in paintings because it's so remarkably dramatic. I mean, that's a dramatic thing, right? So you want to be very, 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 very careful how we use black. So what I'm going to actually do is use a very dark brown. Get in here and do the nostrils and stuff like that. Bring my brush size up just a little bit because we need to kind of go in here and deal with this. Alright. What's probably going to happen is the plane of the face heads out this way to the mouth. You get kind of a raised area through here. Excuse me, rush hour can be pretty brutal still, even in COVID times. This person's very young, so I don't want to put too much emphasis on the areas around the cheek like this. Otherwise it makes her look older. So we're going to make sure that there's just a little bit there, just enough to kind of know that we had a fold there. And then pull it back a little. Right. The same thing here. It's got to be round and sort of pushy up, because I think she's in her early 20s, maybe even late teens. She's not very old, so it's important to not push too much into the shadows here. Her eyes are huge. It's one of the reasons why I'm like, hey, she's cool. I'll draw her. That's because these huge eyes. I think this is an affectation at this point in time of some of these cosplay girls. They're cool. I think one of the things they're manipulating is the fact that they have large eyes, which works for their benefit. It works to their advantage. I think that's awesome. Makes their cosplay even cooler. But it is interesting because I'm wondering, someday I want to measure their eyes to see. Wow. 96, wow. That's serious traffic, dude. Okay, we're just going to kind of go back in here. There we go. Ooh. And she had eyelashes, naturally. We may be a little early to put eyelashes in, but that's okay. I mean, she should be. There we go. That's looking pretty cool. Right? We'll go down here and we'll work on her teeth in an ironic sort of thing, since I'm about to head to the dentist. Right? Teeth are not, of course, they're not perfectly white. If they are perfectly white in a painting, it does look very strange. So we tend to not make them perfectly white. So we're going to start here as the highlight color. And then we're going to bring in some of this. We're going to move it into the pink. Once her lips here. I'm going to bring up my brush. Right. There we go. She had the lip gloss that she was wearing, as I recall, was didn't go all the way out to the edge of her lip. There is something about that. I mean, like what big eyes you have or something. So, Little Red Riding Hood was clearly a cosplayer. This is what we can just extrapolate from this. I mean, that's where it goes, right? Makes some sense. Right? Okay, I'm just kind of bringing this around. Little Red Riding Hood was pretty cool, so I'd be willing to accept that she was a cosplayer. Just saying. My new theory in life. Here, we need to use this color under here to give this form, this area right through here. I'm going to do that and come through here. give all of this form. Now we're going to go in here. Like so. In general, when we do paintings, we try not to do a little like area in between like that unless it's specific. Like this, so we're just going to go like that. There we go. Good. Now we drop that down. I'm going to go in here and just gray out some of this because, like I said, we don't generally, teeth aren't this white. Even if you brush every day, all the time, your teeth don't show up this white. Otherwise, it really does kind of look weird. There we go. There, we're getting better. I feel like our speed paint's going along really well. We're 23 minutes into the painting, and I'm feeling like, you know, we've got a pretty good solid concept of where she is as far as a person. I'm going to go through here. I'm going to do that. Right, do that. There we go. I'm going to flatten this triangle out a little right up here. And this is that plate right here on your nose, which works really well. But it also gives her a little bit more structure there. There we go. I'm just trying to bring in some shapes, right? Kind of don't want her to have sort of, she's got this beautifully cute round face, right? But all of my shapes seem to not, they don't seem to give credence to that shape. And so we're kind of messing up that shape. So we're after here is just trying to kind of do that. The skull moves forward in two planes. There's a plane right here, and then it's a different plane up front. And so when you look at just the forehead of the skull, you've got these planes on either side that are going to be shaded in a different way than this forward plane. So there's kind of we want to kind of do that. We want to give that effect over here. The other thing we're going to do is give a counter shine. So there's like a shine back here. Something is going on that's illuminating part of the outside of her face over here, right? So we're going to do that. Counter shine. It's like a shine and a counter shine. What's the counter shine? There we go. So this is what happens when you have spies with Sean Connery. Give me the counter shine. Oh, Sean Connery. He will be missed. 2020's been brutal. All right. Okay, we're going to clean this up a little. Like that. Yep. And her cheekbones are giving her like the poochy chin. You know, a little bit of a, like that kind of sort of chin going for her, right? Okay, so now that we've done that, let's define some other pieces of this picture, like, for example, her hair. Um, I'm going to go ahead and take this brown and bring it down even further. She was wearing a blonde wig, and that's fine, but that's not what I was experimenting with, so we're going to give her her brown hair sort of back. Which, if the cosplayer in question is ever watching this, it's right. No offense intended. Your hair was awesome. However, I'm just trying to practice this particular thing, so get back that brown black hair which you had before. There we go. Now I'm still using all of the same shades that we've got going on here. Yeah, Sean Connery rocked. I'm just going to keep going around here and doing this and just kind of adding in this sort of forward shade like this. And that gives depth to this, but it doesn't. There we go. Come back here and kind of do that too. It's interesting because she's looking like a very different individual than the cosplayer that I pilfered the picture from. Right. I'll pull up the cosplayer picture at the end, and we'll take a look at this and sort of evaluate how good I did. Probably not so good. So I'm just pulling out across this here so that we don't want to pull in this too much of this. Right. There we go. Going through here. Just do that. Trim that in. There. And let's make sure we've got a sketch. Where's the sketch end? Like here. There we go. Like that. Now the lines aren't helping us any. The sketch lines, they're not helping us now. They're actually kind of confusing the picture a little, so we've got to be careful of that at this point. So we'll go in here and get my brush. Because now we want to just kind of do this. This is sort of what her hair was doing when we kind of got in here. We kind of want to do that because it actually was open. This is not what I wanted to do. I'm on. You've got to stop. But why? You're on the wrong layer. Okay. We were on the wrong layer, so let's go ahead and get back on the right layer. I'll undo all of this. That's the thing that whenever the speed painters do the speed painting, that's so fascinating to me because you were saying that its transformation is remarkable. And that's what gets me about speed painting is how fast, and that's what I'm after. I mean, if I can do this at a relatively fast speed, I'm going to do this here. We're just getting into this. If I can get to this at a relatively fast speed, then we can use this in other applications, like for comic book covers or things like that. There are great applications for this speed painting ability, and I'm still working on trying to get there. I think I'm making a mess now, but that's okay. Now we're just going to do this. Right, we'll do this. Here we go. And then we'll put in her eyebrows as well in here. But we should probably not do that on this level. Let's do it on this level. Because what we really want to do is give her eyebrows that look like actual eyebrows, right? So these are, we want to give her like something that looks like real eyebrows. And we may have to darken this out. Let's just see. And what I will do is give a shadow. Just a shadow. Just indicating that darkens out the skin a little there. All right, when we turn off the sketch, there we go. Right? And that's now looking a lot more like a person. Layer check. We have to have our layer check. Otherwise, what kind of thing are we doing here? Okay. We still have some work to do. Right? We're 30 minutes into this painting. A couple of areas that I'm looking at that are a problem child are like right here and right here. She looks like she's got a flat plane on the front of her face. It's not, it looks like it's completely flat there. So I want to take and gradient in like that. But I want to take it with this color. Hi. How are you? And then just gradient it out like that. Right? And this gives the the appearance that her face is kind of going that way, And I was in here doing this, and now the more I do this, the more I realize that makes her just look like she's 30. And she's not. She's really young, so we want to make sure that we don't have that going for her. And this needs to be there needs to be more of a gradient here for this. Right out to that edge. There we go. Now, I am intentionally not blending. And I'm kind of doing that on purpose. Because I like the painter feel that we're getting out of this. Looks like it's a painting, right? And so I like that effect. So there's an intentional, I'm not blending. I'm kind of intentionally not using the blender tool at all. Here we go. But it's giving it a look like it was done by a painting. So that's why we're headed that way. right? We're headed specifically to make it look like it's, there's actually like a mess up here, isn't there? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. There we go. We'll kind of do this, and then we'll grab some of that. Since we're up here, let's fix by her ear. There we go. All right. So all we're doing here is just kind of adding bits and pieces of this so that this all works. Just tapping into places and points that make this work. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is there's a converging tangent right through here. So we're going to have to fix this. All right, so we're going to grab some of that and go right here. And all we're doing is just adding just enough of a shadow under here that you can tell that there is a differentiation between this part of her face and this part of her neck. Otherwise, her face and neck just vanish. But the truth is that this area right down here is probably lit by the same thing as coming around that corner. The other thing we want to do is fix her lip. So we're going to go in here and we're just going to do this. Okay, grab some of this and move around like so. We're just making this area darker through here. I'm going to go under here and do that. Just kind of bring this around. We're darkening this out, and then we're going to come back in and clean it up. What I'm seeing from far away is something that looks a lot more like a line drawn on her face. Like, why would she do that to herself? Right? Okay. Right? Why would she draw a line on the underside of her? Hey, Brian! Good to see you, bro! Yeah, she does kind of look like she's got Mayan or Inca going for her. Okay, Brian, so I am attempting speed painting. I don't know how good this is working. But we are 40 minutes into this painting, and we're here. Which isn't bad. It's not bad. Yeah, she looks Mayan or Incan or something, and that's because we've got to add in the next step. So, we are here. We're going to go to the next step, right? Which is color. I want to put in some color. So, the first thing we're going to try to do, and I think I need to go in here and shadow that a little bit more, because as wonderful as this is, I'm feeling a little bit like this needs to be more like this. See how our nose went straight suddenly instead of out? Alright. So we're just going to do that, and I'm going to bring this out like this, right? And the same thing over here. I'm going to bring it out. I want to give just a little bit of intention in here, you know, like we mean for it to be shadowy. There we go. And we might put a gold necklace on her. That's going to be tomorrow or the next day or something like that. But for right now, we're kind of... You're right, though. She does look like she's like straight from the Mayan sacrifice zone. Is that a zone? Do you call that a zone? All right. I am raising up this section a little because I feel like her nose was crooked. I don't think she's been in a fight recently. Or, well, yeah, I mean, hey, we don't know. We don't judge. We don't judge. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is add purple and orange. Purple and orange. Really? I guess so. It's very subtle, they're saying. So add it subtly. Alright. Like, I can see what they're talking about to some degree. So we'll add a subtle blue on new raster layer. Wait, did they say multiply? Did they say multiply? Yep, low opacity multiply. So we'll put this on multiply. And we'll go low opacity, right? And they're saying just add a little bit of blue over here. And it's just to give her... I think this is just to cool down this side of the face. Right? And we're just going to kind of go down here. We'll put the necklace on later. We'll put a necklace and like that little shift that they wear and stuff like that. We'll mess with that later. Not today. That's not part of the ramifications of our speed painting today. So. Ooh. Let's go for a soft brush on this. I think she looks very innocent looking too. Got like those adorable big eyes that make her, you know, oh great, you're going to sacrifice me. Oh, thanks. You know, there you go. Our Mayan sacrifice here. She could be that's true. She could totally be an oracle. That's better than a sacrifice. And this one needs to be on a low opacity overlay. Okay, so you need to be on overlay and bring that down quite a bit too. And we'll just add that over here. We're just giving this, well, it's not like a lot. You can't see anything, can you? Probably because you have still it on eraser. And that won't help you any. There we go. Wow, that brought life to her, didn't it? Look at that. I'm just following some random tutorial on Instagram. And sure of the world, it works pretty well, doesn't it? There we go. Wow. That's actually remarkably effective. I was sitting there thinking they were crazy about this low opacity overlay, but that turned out really nice. I'm actually like really impressed. Okay, 46 minutes in, and this is where we are on the picture. I'm going to add another layer here, and we're going to put in the highlights and stuff like that. You want to talk about dramatic? Here's where dramatic comes in. So I'm actually going to take this brush and we're going to take this sky blue, because it's going to be the sky blue reflected in her eyes. So, K and Kale, why do I worry whenever you say things like, you should look up Okay, we're going to bring that brush size down to about here. We're going to go like this. And I know you're like, okay, that's not working. It is working. Because you'll take this brush and then do a hard line on it. We're going to come back around like that. Okay? So that her eyelashes are reflecting in it. That's where things are going to get dramatic here. Do the same thing over here. Right? And that's just the sky reflecting in her eyes. It's a little dramatic at this point, probably too dramatic. I think I'll actually remove some of this so that you can see in her eye a little. There we go. I'll bring that around and then just a little bit back like this. There we go. I'm actually going to keep this off of her iris there. We'll take this and we'll just put in, this is to indicate the water in her eyes. Right? Oh yeah, speed painting. Well, and I've been seeing a lot of videos about speed painting recently. And, whoa, too much. And I've been really thinking about trying to figure out how to do speed painting in a way. Right? So I'm just going along here and adding like highlights and things like that. This is actually working really well. Much better than I expected it to work. I did not expect this to work very well. I'm just saying. Her on her little shiny nose here. She's like, I should go powder my nose and stuff. That's what she does. She says that. I totally heard her. You heard her too. So, I think I actually might risk doing a little bit of a highlight like this. Right? It's like she's got a little bit of light coming in this way. Right? Just a little right through here too. There. And she looks sort of weird, but not that bad. Well, those are good names. I like those names. Now, one of the reasons I like this particular cosplayer is because I loved her eyes. The curve in on her eyes, especially right there. It was a really cool curve on her eyes there. So now we are at 51 minutes in, and I'm feeling kind of like I want to put just a little bit right there, just like this, just so you're really looking at that and seeing sort of that effect, right? Kind of go along the outside edge of her hair. Won't help if you're on the wrong layer. Right? And we can merge that in, because we don't want this to be that dramatic. We need a bigger brush. There we go. Julina. Oh, I like that name. That's cool. That's a cool name. Down on her skin level, let's sort of clear this out a little right through here, because it's looking like she's kind of bleeding or something. I don't know what's going on down here. Something bad's happening down here anyway. Right. So the original paint here is coming out like this. There we go. I'm just softening out this paint a little. There we go. Just softening it out. Tulana Yinja. I like Julina. I think if we're going to head anywhere, that seems like the place I want to kind of head. Julina. That sounds cool. I'm just going to darken up here, right under her hairline. And, it's like her hair is shading in, as it comes along the front there. Either way, we are moving along rather nicely, and for a 1 hour speed paint, I think we've gotten quite an amazing effect. I'm pretty happy with this. Not happy with what I just did there. Yak. Whap. That's alright. She didn't need that part anyway. Ouch. Okay. I do want to fix a little here. Bring that brush size down there. Grab that, and we've got to kind of come back around like this. So the whole exercise was to be able to do something quickly. I like your tangents. Your tangent for the name is great. I'm not going to argue. So let's go on ahead and add, she's very warm, so we're going to go for something blue behind her. Let's go in here with a very, very large brush and just do, something like this. This gives it a nice, just something behind it, so it's not just her sitting there being weird, I feel like I should highlight the back of her a little or something. A little bit of blue in here just so that it's got some, there. Space Pokemon. That's what it is. She stumbled onto a space Pokemon. Totally. It's exactly what happened. Okay. Couple of things I want to do real quick. We've still got 4 minutes left on this. So I'm going to grab some of this back part of the hair here. I'm just going to lighten up this part right here. There is some kind of lighting going on this side. So I'm just bringing up that light. And then we're going to come back around and just kind of... There we go. And the more chaos in the hair, the better. There we go. We can give her ear a little bit of effect here. Get a little bit brighter than that. We need more brush. There we go. There we go. What's kind of going in here? We're just kind of making her ear exist, be a real thing. She actually has an ear. There. She's a jungle girl. Yeah, and the funny part is it made her look like she's, I don't know, 12. And it's interesting because, the model that I took this from is a cosplayer, and she's in her 20s, the model is. So it's intriguing that we get this effect out of her. I mean, that is a very intriguing thing. That when you transpose a 20-year-old cosplayer, she's Asian, so the model is Asian. So I find it fascinating that the end result here is a kid. You take a cosplayer and you... Anyway, paint study. We did a paint study. All right. The original is here. This is our original cosplayer. And here's our resulting illustration. Ironically, I made her look younger. I don't know how that happened, but I did. I made her look younger. So, there you go. Speed paint. Doesn't look anything like the original picture. That's all right. That wasn't the mission. But I'm sitting here going, well, it doesn't look anything like her originally. That's okay. A beer study is good too. I'm just saying, beer study is awesome. All right. So, things that I have learned that I think are great is thing number one, the idea of using an orange on one side in an overlay mode and and then a blue on the other side in a multiply mode actually is extraordinarily dramatic and worked really weird. Really cool. Okay. You could quaff a few root beers with Malden, making a comment toward. So I am looking at this and thinking I've still got a few errors. Meat's pretty good. A few errors that I want to work on. But for the most part, it's really not bad. This is not a bad speed paint for 1 hour. Oh yeah, my DeLorean shirt. Love my DeLorean shirt. So, there we go. Hopefully I won't bleed all over my DeLorean shirt. That'd be really sad. Maybe I should think about that before I head to the dentist. Hey, Brian, I'm going to the dentist today to have some very small surgery. Like microsurgery, they were saying. It's microsurgery. But it is going to require stitches, which means that tomorrow I'm going to be all puffed up, is what they're saying. So, I don't know what that means. In the grand scheme of things, I'm not sure what that means, but that's all right. Okay, so here is a study that we did, and the study is solid. And I think that I will call that good and leave it alone. Just as it is. And maybe we'll do a different study tomorrow, or whatever, or we'll get back to work. The clients took illustration 6 and thought it looked awesome and looked great, and so that's awesome and works. I will be a chipmunk for a couple of days. So my sister was telling me that the last time I had surgery, as I've said before, the last time I had surgery, I got my tonsils out when I was 8, which is why I'm nervous about this, of course, because haven't had surgery. And I know I'm extremely lucky, and I understand that most people have had, by the time they hit 50, a couple of surgeries. But I have been very lucky and have not had any surgeries. So my sister was telling me that when I had my tonsils out, she still remembers this. When I had my tonsils out, Mom and Dad told her I was going to sound like Kermit the Frog when I came home. And I came home, and just like anybody who had had their tonsils out, I was hoarse. But I didn't sound like Kermit the Frog. I sounded like somebody who had a sore throat. And so she was remarkably disappointed. Oh, yeah, we still have George Goodluck just pushing forward. Where is George, that little pest? He's somewhere. He went somewhere. He was on the main line for a while, but he gave up, and he went somewhere else. He likes to sit now on the desk, because that could be in the way of somebody's work. Naturally. So, okay, guys, well, I'm going to cut this short so I can go get all of the things I need for I'm going to eat lunch, and then I have to brush my teeth, because, of course, I'm about to go to the dentist right after eating lunch. So I'm going to cut this short and go do all of that, and I will see you all tomorrow with a chipmunk face. Or at least in theory, I will. I don't know. Who knows? My luck, I just won't have a chipmunk face, and everything will be fine, and nobody will notice the difference, and then I'll be like, it'll be like Kermit. You'll just be, you'll be like, well, we were let down because we were expecting a chipmunk face, and there you are. Yeah, he's probably hanging out in the sun. Gosh, he would too. Okay, I'll see you all tomorrow. Brian, I haven't heard from you for a while, but I'm assuming you're still hanging out here somewhere. If you want to join me tomorrow to draw, that'd be cool. We could do that and stuff. So, but until then, go on ahead and have a great day. Have a lovely day. And remember to keep your eyes on the stars. Goodbye.